Are we doing enough as a community to bring attention to the growing epidemic of HIV and AIDS? And are we using this information to curb and treat the spread of HIV? South Africa has the highest rate of HIV in the world, with 7.7 million people living with HIV. The LGBTIQA+ community still face prejudice and the battle to break free from a stereotype and stigmatized culture. I'm Shenay O'Brien, and welcome to WQMD Season 2. We are so excited to be back for a second season, and thank you to the Other Foundation for making it possible and collaborating with us. If you haven't watched Season 1, let me introduce the panel to you guys. On my right, I have Tina Redman, Jodi Deerling, Jaco Venter, and our very special guest for today is Wade Schreier.
Thank you.
How are you?
How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for coming on to WQMD. So this whole episode is about HIV, AIDS, and awareness and what it entails. I think it's such a important thing to talk about. I mean, there's so much stigma and stereotype around it. But in your own words, kind of thing, explain to me what HIV is.
So before I talk about what HIV is, I'm going to tell you what my story is. In March 2017, I actually got diagnosed with HIV, very shockingly. At the time, I didn't even know what HIV stood for. I had a preconceived idea of who it belonged to and what it is. So what HIV is, it's the virus that infects a person's immune system. But thankfully, we have treatment today that can stop the process of that and prevents a person from actually getting AIDS.
Okay, and then is there a difference between HIV and AIDS? Or is it the same thing?
No, it's two completely different things. And actually, a person who's living with HIV may actually never even develop AIDS. So they're two very different things. HIV is the actual virus, and AIDS is a collection of serious illnesses that you get from HIV that is not treated.
So is it fair to say that HIV is the first and early stage, and AIDS is kind of like the last final
stage.
Imminent stage?
That's it.
Is it possible, Wade, once you have AIDS, to go back to having HIV?
Definitely. So many people who develop AIDS haven't started treatments, ARV treatments. So when you do start ARV treatment, your immune system, you actually start getting healthy. And it's possible to say goodbye to the term AIDS, and now you just have HIV.
Right.
Definitely, yeah.
And from then, can your virus still go into the stage where it's undetectable? Can you go all the way?
Definitely. It normally takes about 6 months to get to an undetectable viral load. But that's not the case for everyone, and that's why it's important to continuously monitor your viral load.
Right.
I think what we'd also like to know is, in terms of viral load and CD4 count, what's the difference? Because obviously people who are uneducated don't know the difference and how to obviously treat it and take us to that level of healthy again,
Yes.
you know?
Okay, so what a viral load is, that is a blood test that measures what the amount of virus is in your blood. Okay?
Viral load.
Viral load. CD4 counts is a measurement of your immune system. And, that can vary from many different people. What they normally say is anything below 200 of a CD4 count, that is when you actually get diagnosed with AIDS.
Okay.
But anything above, you're still healthy. Even over 200, you're still a healthy person, and you shouldn't be defined by what your CD4 count is.
Is the CD4 count known as just little white soldiers who are
Exactly.
busy working in the body?
That's them, yeah?
Okay.
They're the soldiers in your body that help you fight infections and keep you healthy.
That's your white
Blood cells, indeed.
Perfect. So then what does the ARVs do to the body in terms of the viral load and the CD4 count now to kind of balance things out?
Okay, so what ARVs do is, first of all, they reduce the amounts of virus in your body. So it finds HIV, it deactivates HIV from replicating in your body. Okay, so that is when the viral load starts to drop. After 6 months of treatment, that's when they say you normally become undetectable, which means you can't even detect HIV in your body. Because HIV now cannot be detected in your body, it's not causing any damage inside your body. And that is actually when your CD4 cells start to recover. Because what HIV does is it targets your CD4 cells and it starts to destroy them, which make you sick. But with ARV treatment, that's not going to happen.
I also just want to add on that point we were speaking about undetectable now. U equals U, which means undetectable equals untransmittable. So if you can't detect a load of HIV in your system, you can't pass it on to the next person.
100% correct. It's medical science. It's been proven with many international studies. Undetectable equals untransmittable. If you have an undetectable viral load, you can have sex without fear, you can conceive a child, you can give birth, you can breastfeed. That is the truth of it.
But this is obviously not something we're advising because you can't receive it to now practice unprotected sex.
Absolutely.
Obviously, you know.
No, it's U equals U is not a term that can allow everyone to now go have sex without a condom. No. What U equals U is, it's more towards people who are actually in a relationship, and you say now a serodiscordant couple, which is one HIV negative person and one HIV positive person. We do not have to use a condom every time we have sex. We're in a relationship, we're in a loving relationship, and I'm not going to give you HIV. So that is actually the messaging around it, is when you are in a relationship and you want to love each other and have sex, a condom is not necessary.
Wait, sorry, is it possible, so let's say you're undetectable, but is it possible that during your period of being undetected to your next test, that sometime during that period the virus starts regenerating again to a level that is detectable at your next test, but then you've already transmitted it onto someone else?
So that is why we say have your viral load monitored often, at least every 6 months. Okay. We haven't seen that your viral load, if you take your treatment every day consistently, there is no reason that your viral load will suddenly become detectable. So if you may be missing your treatment, or if you've had maybe an illness where, maybe your treatment wasn't taking well, then definitely recheck your viral load. But if you are healthy, you're taking your ARVs every day, there's no reason to believe that your viral load suddenly becomes detectable.
I want to move on to the next point where we're talking about ARVs, about PrEP and PrEP. But before I get to that, there's a lot of myths around how one contracts HIV. I mean, a lot of people is like, when you sit on a toilet seat and all those type of things. But it's actually, it's through semen, vaginal fluids, and believe it or not, mother's milk.
And through blood.
And through blood, obviously.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're quite right, yes. You're not going to get HIV from casual contact, hugging, kissing, that kind of thing, no. It needs to actually enter the body.
PEP, what is that?
PEP, so that's post-exposure prophylaxis, and that is actually for people who have been exposed to HIV. So say now you've been sexually violated, or if you've the condom broke, or if you had sex without using a condom, that is actually when you want to access PEP, because that will prevent you, if that person was HIV positive, from actually acquiring HIV. And you have to start that within 3 days of your exposure, and it's a 28-day course of treatment, and it's quite effective against preventing an HIV infection.
So that's PrEP.
That's PEP.
And PrEP?
PrEP is pre-exposure prophylaxis, so that is for people, for anyone really. I mean, we can't define who should and shouldn't take PrEP. But what it does is it prevents an HIV infection. So that means you can have sex without a condom and not contract HIV. But that is where it stops. It does not mean you can't contract herpes or any other STIs or even from falling pregnant. So it's very important to understand that.
What are the long-term effects if one is on PrEP or PEP too long?
There are no known side effects really. It's still quite a new drug, so I'm saying in the last 5 years. But from what we've seen from people who do take PrEP is there are no liver damage, no kidney damage. Obviously, before you start PrEP, you'll need to see a doctor and they will check your liver and kidney as a baseline, and then maybe a few months later check it again. And if for some unknown reason it is not doing too well in your body, then maybe PrEP is not an option for you.
So, Wade, I just want to ask your information or maybe your opinion. I've read there were 3 or 4 cases in the UK of individuals who had HIV and AIDS, and they received some form of treatment and they were fully cured of HIV and AIDS. No, like it's out of their system. So, where's the research in terms of curing you of HIV and AIDS?
I think research is still very important. It's ongoing. It's something that we need to support because we all deserve a cure for HIV. What the person you're talking about is Timothy Ray Brown, also known as the Berlin Patients. He was cured of HIV. He had leukemia, and they did a bone marrow transplant, which kind of refreshed all the cells in his body. So he was cured of HIV. But the key message, not everyone should go for a bone marrow transplant. That is far too invasive, and it's so hectic to go through that. The key message to take away right now is start ARV treatments, get to an undetectable viral load, stay adherent, and you will be fine. You are as good as cured on treatments.
I just want to add on to that. ARV treatments, PEP and PrEP, are readily available throughout South Africa, and there's so many institutions and organizations who offer this treatment for free. We will list an entire thing on WQMD where people can go and find these.
And it's so important to realize that everyone has the right to access this kind of treatment, okay? And whether you taking treatment from a government institution or private institution, it's the same treatment. It doesn't mean because I'm on medical aid that my ARVs are much better. It's the same pill.
So Wade, with regards to testing for HIV, it's quite nerve-wracking to go for a test. There's a stigma around going, and how do you prepare yourself mentally and emotionally for going for an HIV test?
I think it can be scary, of course, but the power in knowing your status is that you know what to do once you know what your status is. So if you're HIV negative, you can either start PrEP, and if you're HIV positive, you can start treatment. So the power in knowing your status far outweighs the scariness. The scariness of not testing is that you could actually become sick, and you don't know what's going on in your body. So it's really about taking control of your own health.
But the tests aren't invasive in any way or form. It's just like a normal prick that you do on your thumb. So
today testing is amazing. There's a lot of different options for people. Not everyone wants to go to a healthcare provider and do the test. A lot of people prefer to do the test at home. And today we actually have that technology where you can buy a test at a pharmacy, take it home, and do the test in the privacy and safety of your own home.
That's amazing,
I mean, it's not the end of the world anymore.
Yes.
It's not a death sentence.
It's not.
There's
It's
so
not at
much
all.
help out there.
Wait, you are living proof. My mother as well is HIV positive, and her virus is undetectable. She's living proof. Your life doesn't end.
That's it. In fact, my life had only started once I tested positive, and I really saw there's so much more to life, and your story has a meaning and it can help someone.
We can ask another question just in terms of the so once you find out you're positive, what would you be? When do you start ARVs? Should people wait? Is it something to start immediately?
So what you want to do is start treatments immediately. Why wait to get sick to start treatments?
Yes.
Start treatments immediately. It's available. Many years ago in South Africa, it was not advised.
Yes, there was a myth about 500 or something.
That's really fallen away now. World Health Organization says start immediately, and
I have one more question. So just after testing, they advise you to go test again because there's a window period. Could you please tell us a bit more about that?
So what happens with the window period is, say now you have sex in January and you test for HIV in February. You could actually be in the window period. Okay, so what a window period is, from the time HIV is in your body to the time that a test will detect that you have HIV. So a lot of the times people test in the window period and they test negative because your body hasn't produced antibodies yet. And that is why people believe they're negative. So what we say is, to be 100% safe, is test 3 months after your exposure. And what your test results is actually what your status is.
Wait, just another question quickly. Is it possible to have, for instance, a false positive on your test result?
It is possible. That is why it is so important when you are testing for HIV to test with the test that is approved, that has a CE mark, and that is credible. A lot of people are testing with tests that have not been approved for self-testing, which is dangerous, guys. And the danger about that is you'll believe that you're HIV negative when you're positive. HIV will continue to transmit, you'll continue to transmit it to other people, you won't seek treatment, and yeah, it's really the worst outcome. So when you are testing, make sure that you're testing with an approved test.
Wait, my thing I'm most concerned about is that when you're doing this test, and like we said as well, it's your stress, the anxiety, and to have your test at home, yes, in the comfort of your home, would you advise a friend be present, a family member be present, or someone on standby to call post that? Because I don't think any person will be able to just to deal with that kind of information, because it, like you said, it is a life-changing one. But in that moment, you really, I wouldn't think it's advisable to be on your own.
So I think it's really important for the individual to realize what they want, because at the end of the day, when you go and buy a self-test, you know that, listen, I want to know my status. So there's a thing of like, the person already wants to know what their status is. So if you feel that you might not handle the news well, then maybe have a friend with you. But a lot, people Google everything. That is why the counselling is actually not really necessary, because it's not the end of it. You don't have to now go and jump off a bridge because you're HIV positive. You start treatment, you live a normal life. Another thing is with a self-test, you have to have your result confirmed by a healthcare provider. And that is actually where you're going to get your counselling. That is where you're going to be linked up to treatments, see your CD4 count, your viral load. So this is just a way of the first step to taking control of your health.
I'm going to tell you straight up that I was 2 years old when I learned that you could do a self-test. I didn't know that. Genuine. But
again, it's about that stereotype and stigma where you have to go into a medical practitioner to get tested and stuff. And technology has changed so much. Like, we can do everything from the comfort of our homes nowadays.
And it's important to realize that while self-testing may not be for everyone, it's for a lot of people, because a lot of the times there's barriers to getting tested. So if you go to a clinic, you feel judged and stigmatized. You don't want people to know your status, that kind of thing. And that's why it's great to have this option, test at home. If you feel it's not for you, if you feel that you might freak out or this is not something for you, by all means go to a healthcare provider, let them do the test.
Wait, just another question, sorry. What are the markings that you said they must be on the lookout for when they buy a test?
A CE mark.
What exactly does that
So
mean?
that means the test has really gone through all the regulatory approvals, it's been tried and tested. Your chances of getting a false negative is really
low.
Minimal. Yeah.
And the BioSure test that you brought for us today is the only self-home testing kit that is CE approved.
That is it.
The only.
Oh, wow.
So if you see anything else on the shelves,
Don't buy it!
don't buy it.
Well, first of all, it's illegal. Pharmacies should not be selling tests that are not designed and approved for self-testing. So if you do walk into a pharmacy and you see a test that is not approved for self-testing, you need to report them, because that is illegal, and that is how so many people are getting false negative results.
How does it even work? How do you begin?
So let me actually show you how easy it is to know your status. I just need 2 volunteers, guys.
Well, I'll do it.
I think, let me just go with the 2 ladies, you're closest to me. So, there we go.
Thank you.
And what you want to do is you want to open up the test. Okay. And it's really, it's 3 simple steps, guys. So you're going to remove the buffer pots from the top of the test device.
That's a C issue.
Where is this now?
Okay, so the buffer pot is on top
Oh,
of
it's
the...
on top of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything is explained to you. It's really easy. So you're going to remove the pot and you place it in the hole in the tray.
Oh, I see what you did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on.
I wanted to say something very suggestive now, but I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
Okay, so now what you want to do is you actually want to prick your finger. So remove the cap and
Oh, okay.
prick your finger. It's a tiny prick. There we go.
Did you prick your finger? Or
Yeah,
That
it was painless.
Am I doing it correctly?
Yeah, just push
Yeah,
down.
Just push down. There you go.
That's it.
And then?
And then with the top of your test device, you just want to touch the drop of blood, and you'll see it will automatically collect the right amounts.
Okay.
You might need to push,
Yeah.
just press down on your finger just to create a bit of blood flow.
Okay. Wow, my blood said no today.
It's so easy.
And then what you want to do is poke the test through the foil in the buffer pots. Did you get enough blood there?
Hardly.
Try and massage your finger a little bit
Mhm.
in an upward motion.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Okay.
So it
And
only
I
needs a
poke it
tiny, tiny drop.
Just like
Did
that.
you poke it right through? Yeah. Yeah, that's it, guys.
And then it starts running.
Starts running, and in 15 minutes, you will know your results. You take the test out of the
Mm.
and you're just going to place it in the tray,
Mhm.
and that is actually how you interpret your results.
Oh, wow.
Super easy.
Wade, thank you so much for coming through to WQMD today and opening our world to the world of self-testing. How can we from here on move forward to curb the spread and cure HIV/AIDS, and what projects and stuff are you busy with at the moment?
So what I can say, first of all, everyone should know their status. Test yourself at least every 6 months. That is the first step to ending the HIV epidemic. So what UNAIDS has said is we need 90% of people to know their status, 90% of those people to actually be on ARV treatments, and 90% of them to have an undetectable viral load. That is how we're going to stop the spread of HIV. More than that, have conversations about HIV, normalize it, normalize self-testing, normalize taking a pill every day to keep your viral load undetectable. Talk about what U equals U means. A lot of people don't know what it means. People have never heard about it. So tell your mates, hey, I just heard a person living with HIV who has an undetectable viral load cannot transmit the virus. That is stigma bashing stuff. People need to know about it because people have this idea of what HIV is and don't go near that person. No, it needs to stop.
And the projects that you're busy with?
So right now we're just focusing on self-testing, stigma, ending stigma, talking about HIV, hashtag U equals U, positivevibes.org.
And that's your own platform that you
That
use?
is, yeah.
Like
So
that.
it's just a platform where we discuss and talk about HIV and what are our options and what can we do, how can we help other people, yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for coming through. I've learned a lot. I'm sure the team has learned a
So
lot.
much.
And we thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank
Wade.
you.
One of the best ways to break and fight the stigma is to empower and educate society, those living with HIV/AIDS and those who are not, by speaking up openly and honestly about the truths, the realities, and what we experience. Change starts with you. Know your status.